I just saw this really beautiful picture of this African woman standing in this river, like staring down, and it was just so dope.
So you guys only had 3 days together.
He was supposed to stay for a week.
I came with the intent to propose.
Oh my God. At that moment, I'm asking myself, is this proposal? Am I getting married?
Okay, and so today we got Supah and his wife in part 2. Part 1, you heard about Supah. You heard all about his story and how he came to Ghana and how he's pursuing his music career. Now you're gonna hear about his decision to move to Ghana and to get married to a Ghanaian queen, a Ghanaian woman. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm back with another episode of Authentic African Relationships. So today I have two very special guests. I have Supah and I have Gracelyn. We met a little over a week and a half ago at an event at Freetown Tap House. I thought your story was interesting. Supah's from Chicago. Gracelyn is Ghanaian. And so I thought it might be interesting to hear their story of how they met, what it's like to be married to someone from the other culture. Intercontinental relationship, I think is what we decided on, we're calling it. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we do, let's start with introduction. We're gonna start with ladies first. So Gracelyn, can you give a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
This is summer school in Accra.
I am Ghanaian, born and raised. I come from a very large family. I have like 9 aunties and uncles, and I'm the best.
For tap time off, tap like eat. And what do you do for a living?
I am a graphic designer and I work out here.
Okay, Supah. Did an interview with you. This is part 2. But for those who didn't see part 1, can you give a little bit about your background, where you're from, and what it is?
Sure. So yeah, thank you, Joe, for having us on your platform. We're very grateful to be here. My name is Supah, 76 Supah. I'm an artist from the south side of Chicago. I born and raised on the south side. Well, I was born on the west side, raised on the south side of Chicago. I am the only male child. I have 3 sisters. And 2 little sisters, 1 older sister. Relatively small family, I would say.
Or what do you do?
Oh, I am a life coach, do consulting work. I am also a rapper, a dancer, a teacher, and missing something. Truck driver. I also came into trucking as well.
Nice.
But I've stepped away from that since having been here in Ghana.
Okay, cool. So, if you want to hear anything about the music career, just check out part 1. That link is gonna be in the description, so you can see more about that. But today, we're talking about relationships, intercontinental relationships, and I've talked about my story dating here in West Africa, and you guys have heard enough from me. And it's always interesting to hear from other people, and those people who've actually had a successful one and lead towards marriage, right? So I definitely want to ask you guys about your relationship. I want to start with you, Supah, since you're the one who shot your shot, right? I want to hear, how did you find Gracelyn, and what was it that caught your eye, and then what did you say? And then I'm going to go to Gracelyn and see what your response was. So let's hear from you.
Man, it was the idea whose time has come.
Okay, that's the theme. That is the theme. The idea whose time has come.
No, I'm playing around. But in all honesty, man, to this day, I don't know how I found her. She just popped up on my timeline somehow. I don't remember what I was doing before or after I saw her picture, but I just saw this really beautiful picture of this African woman standing in this river, like staring down, and it was just so dope, like super dope photo. She didn't mention she's a model also. She takes a really good photo, very photogenic. She won't say it, she's dope model. And so I caught a wind of one of those photos, and I went to check out her page. I said she was from Ghana, when I was just like, oh, I love Ghana. I've already been there before, coincidentally. And so going through her page, I was just like, she looks like she has a good head on her shoulders, And so it was to the DMs.
All right.
Straight to them DMs.
And what did you say?
Man, what I say, baby? What I say? What's my line, baby? Nah. I just slid in and I was like, I said, I said she looks like a top-notch woman. Who look like a top-notch woman.
Now, I gotta hear from you, Gracelyn, right? Because at some point you're looking in your DMs, right? You get this message. What did you see, and how did it go from your perspective?
I think what he did was put a comment under the picture, and I think someone else responded to the comments he made. It was supposed to go probably to the picture, so I was like, who is this having a bunch on my face? And then I check my DMs, then he's there, and he's like, you're a top-notch woman. So I go click his Instagram to see, okay. I'm always like kind of receptive to foreigners because it's such a Ghanaian thing to be hospitable to other people. I was just being friendly, being nuts, like, okay, hey, hi, how are you? Definitely.
Was there an immediate attraction? Obviously, right?
Oh, no, it wasn't like that from the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you saw it more as like you're just being hospitable because you're being that Ghanaian.
Right.
Okay. All right. So from your perspective, though, you're shooting your shot. There's some banter. You obviously have to get to the point where it's gotten to this. What were you doing and saying to try to kind of get her to see you for the man that you are and not to just be hospitable, but actually to get some interest?
Man, I was just flexing, you know? I was trying to tell her, like, man, I've been to Ghana already. I was basically giving her all the reasons why she needs to lock in with me. My thing was, though, I thought she was really beautiful, and so I just figured, you know, she couldn't possibly be single. So I just really wanted to make friends. I think initially that was my big thing. I wanted to make friends with somebody who seemed to be around the right people in Ghana, somebody who I could, you know, come here with and have a good experience in Ghana with. And but to answer your question, like I said, I was letting her know that I opened up for Shatta Wale. I was letting her know I've been to Ghana. I was sending her music videos that I had shot out here, and you know, asking for her number. You know, again, sending music. That she was listening to the music. She was like, "Oh, you dope." She let me know I've been listening to your song every play. Can't stop playing it on repeat. Them vibes. And yeah, she really loves music, so I think that kind of really helped get me in there. Her being able to be like, "Oh wow, he's an artist." So other than that, that's really what I was saying and what I was doing. And somewhere along the line, I found out, you know, she mentioned that she was single, and that's when it was just like, for me, I was just like, what was? It's like, ain't no way, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, then things shifted.
Okay.
You know, I was like, instead of me trying to focus on pianist.
You mentioned that you were visiting once a year in winter, right? From 2018. When did you guys actually meet? I forgot to ask that. 2019. 2019. Okay.
No. Oh, you said actually meet. That's when we met online.
Right. You met online in 2019. When did you meet in person?
We met in 2020 October.
October 20. October. So you guys were communicating for about a year before you met. These guys do video call, video chats. So that was helpful, right? To kind of keep it like feeling like you guys were kind of in the same place. Okay. So that whole time you guys hadn't met, and then you met. And how long were you here that trip when you came in 2020?
3 days.
3 days. So you guys only had 3 days together.
So he had to, it was my birthday.
I missed my flight or something, right? I had some complications.
He had to come, let's say, like the Wednesday, which is my birthday, but then he missed his wife, so he came the next day. And he was supposed to stay for a week. But then that wasn't what happened, so we ended up staying for a week.
Stayed for 3 days. Okay, so that was the first time meeting in person after a year on the phone. How did you end up proposing and getting to marry?
But I proposed on that first. I did, yeah. So
It's gotta remind me that I did
in that 3 days,
way around.
within that 3 days, I proposed.
Okay, within 3 days.
Yeah, so I came with the intent to propose. So yeah, we
Okay.
have been talking for a year, and I think a big part of my mentality was just that I wanted to do this relationship right, which, you know, of course, right is subjective, but I didn't want to be in a situation where, or let me rephrase that. I wanted to be in a situation where like my intentions were clearly stated, especially being that, you know, I'm coming from another country. I wanted to do something that was gonna bring a certain sense of honor to her and her family, as opposed to being, you know, just somebody around. You know, I want to make my intentions clear. So when I came, I had it in my mind that I wanted to propose, and that's what I did. You know, it was a great decision.
No, the best decisions of my life. So now for you, what was that? Were you expecting him to propose?
No, I would.
Okay, so
Should have been.
what did that feel like for you when he how did you, well, first of all, how did he do it? Let me ask you that before I ask you how did you propose?
It was a perfect night, moonlit sky, full girl. But no, it wasn't a full moon. It was a crescent actually, and I know that because I got her some earrings that matched the way the moon was in the sky that night.
Okay.
But I say that to say, how did I do it? Man, I just tell the truth. I slid into Pandora in a better crop.
Okay.
And that was the engagement ring that I got there. The wedding ring, however, I brought from Chicago. But yeah, I slid into Pandora. I think I gave her my card in the mall, and I told her, you know, run around the mall with my card.
Yeah.
And in that time, I went in Pandora, and I was just looking for something that seemed like, though, make a nice piece for her. And that's the one that she wears on her right hand still to this day. And it's a gold ring, which I thought was dope because she's Ghanaian and the history of gold in Ghana. I felt it was appropriate. And yeah, I went in there, got the ring, and I think I gave it to her on the way home from the mall, that same trip to the mall. Because again, I was only here 3 days. You know what I mean? There ain't a lot of room to play with. So yeah, I gave it to her in the back of the Uber. We was in the Uber on the way, pulled it out. I don't know what I said beforehand. I ain't say nothing. I don't remember saying nothing either. I felt like it wasn't a big surprise that I was gonna propose. I thought it was obvious what I was doing in there. Okay, that's how it felt. But to her, I guess it was a big surprise that even to this day, she's still saying she had no idea I was gonna propose. It's like, you know, I done came all the way from across the water. Yeah, I done came all the way from the States. So I'm gonna, you know, make it known what I'm on.
All right, so Gracelyn, be on the other side of that, right? Well, what was that like? So you get in the Uber, you had no idea.
I thought he was coming for my birthday because he's trying to come in 2019, but then I think with work, so he didn't have time to come. So he missed his flight, obviously, and then he was given like 3 days. So we spent some time in Kawuki. It's like a beach apartment for something. And the next day we went to church. So after church, we wanted to go to the mall and then just dress and stuff. But he was supposed to leave like that same day. And I'm like, okay, since you're in Ghana, since we've been talking for like a long time, I like you to meet my mom before you leave. So you're kind of like introduced to the family. And I had talked to my mom a lot about this guy. I was living with my mom then. So she literally knew everything about the guy. And it's like, oh, I'm talking to this person. It's cool. I think he's been on video calls with my mom severally. So I was like, if you're going to leave today, I think you can make some time. First see her. You get to know her better in person, and then so we went to the mall, and then this guy walked ring shop, and I bullied him because I thought he was just gonna go grab two or buy stuff from here. But I'm like, okay. And then I went in with him, and he's like, you gotta go back. And then he gave me his card, and he's like, go buy something for yourself, and I'll see you later. So I went into another shop, and I think I grabbed like some shirts, and I came out, and he was still in the ring shop. I'm like, okay. But then he was done with everything, and we got in an Uber. We were on the way to go see my mom in the backseat. And he was giving me my birthday present. It was a bracelet with charms on it, and I think some jewelry, a crescent. And then the ring. And I was sitting this way, he was here, so he just took my hand, and this girl like, shoot. And I'm like, oh. Oh my God. At that moment, I'm asking myself, is this proposal? Am I getting married? Am I getting engaged? Like that kind of stuff. And then we kissed, and the diamond was even laughing at us. And we went to my mom's. After that, I saw my mom. He took her forward, and she was really excited. They spoke for a while. And yeah, I didn't even think that somebody would come all the way from the States, spend 3 days in Ghana with me, and propose. I know we had talked about marriage, start bed, living together, all that stuff, but sometimes it feels like those are things that you say for conversation or just things that you speak about like with your partner, so you know where your head is at when it comes to building a family and stuff like that. So that was how the beholder went. He didn't ask you. So it's like you're gonna be my wife.
Now that you guys have gone through the process of getting engaged, how did you determine when you were going to be moving to Ghana, right? Because you obviously, I'm sure you thought about it before we didn't pop the question, before you bought the ring, right? But how did you decide when you were going to move, and what went through your mind before and after you proposed, in the process? What was the process like to be?
Yeah, so originally, and from the beginning, my whole goal was to be able to bring her to the States. Okay. So I think when I started to realize that I was, you know, fond of her, I asked her, I was like, I felt real. You know what it was? I had a dream. Okay, not even a dream. It wasn't even a dream. I woke up before my alarm went off, which is very rare for me, as you know. Yeah, but I tend to oversleep past alarms and things like that. So it was very strange for me to wake up and to think, oh, I overslept. And I looked, and it was like a few minutes before the alarm went off, but she was on my mind. And so when I had that feeling, I was like, yo, this is just too much for me. So I just hit her up, and I'm like, I think I know we don't know each other that well yet, but I would love if you would, how would you feel about coming to live here with me? Like, yeah, I'm going to be here. And she let me know that, gave me an affirmative answer, like, yeah, I do it. And that, to me alone, it just spoke volumes. Like, she was willing to leave and come stay with me in another country. Like, that meant a lot to me. And so that's what my focus was on. But the you know the plan for me moving here, it wasn't necessarily my plan exact, and here we are, fast forward a couple years, things have gotten a little switched around. Sure. So yeah, to answer your question, me moving here wasn't a part of the initial plan. My plan was to move her there, but there's just so much red tape around the process, or getting people from Ghana into the States, or from the continent of Africa for that matter into the States. And so as of now, we pretty much completed the visa process. But then, if she wants to come, we can get that going. But it seems like, we enjoy like here in Ghana, right? And I enjoy being here. I'm having the time of my life,
Yeah.
I would like to think she's having the time of her life as well, and we'll of course do some traveling, and I'll make sure she gets to come, though, hang out and stuff. But I think this is a great place to build a foundation, as a very safe, very peaceful.
I wanted to ask you guys about the dynamics of the intercontinental relationship, right? So, and I want to start with you, Gracelyn, since I've been starting with Supah for many of these questions. What has it been like for you dating someone who's like culturally maybe Western or grew up in the States? What has that been like for you, right? Is it different from what you had experienced dating guys here?
Very, very different.
Okay.
I'd say that dating and being married to a Western guy, or say an American man, is exciting and sometimes challenging as well. But I see it to be a learning tab. I call it my happy roller coaster. So it's like you get to learn, and then you get to get pinched a little, like, okay, ouch. And I think that we have a lot of cultural differences, but then it might not, it's not like that for every couple.
Okay.
It's between both partners what matters and what the, so like you said, I don't really look conservative, but I am sort of,
Okay.
and these kind of things like kind of affects the way we interact, our communication, social norms, traditions, festivities that we do here, our religion, even family. So it's been an experience for me learning what his culture is, how Americans dress, the food they eat. I haven't even tried mac and cheese steak. I've been able to introduce all the Ghanaian foods to him. Watch Hey is a lot. He can tell you about all his favorite foods. So it's if I give it to a Ghanaian to eat, it wouldn't really matter. But if an American eats it, he's like, "What's this stuff? This add this to that." Right. Those things make it like fun. And then I think when it comes down to talking about like family, moving, and relocating, all those things, then it gets
Well, culturally, so you mentioned a lot of things. You talk about religion, dress, and food. Where maybe, because you said it's your happy roller coaster, where like the highest high? What was something that was great in your experience being married to or dating an American? Because you said exciting. You used the word exciting. What came to mind when you said it was exciting dating an American? You think you have an doubt?
he from and he intelligent, very smart. Learning from him, then certain things that he says. He's always showing you a new movie. He's always I know what Black Jesus was to him. Like what is Black Jesus? So yeah, all those things thinking like, okay, if I was with a Ghanaian, I wouldn't even know if I was with this. And he makes me want to like really learn about America, like learn about Chicago, what the history was, where's this, where's that. So those things excite me. Okay. For me to be able to learn something from another person that doesn't relate with anything that I was brought up with, that is, I think those are the things that give me the highest high. So I can't like really pinpoint specific things, but it's like every day there's something to learn.
Really, it's like world expanding, right? Seeing a different world outside of Ghana, and then even specifics to his world in Chicago. Okay, and then for you, you are married to a Ghanaian woman. Obviously, in the States, I'm sure you dated in Chicago. What has it been like for you culturally? I mean, we talked about the food, wache. I know there's eggs and everything here. You guys love your noodles, even the noodles. You guys love your eggs. So, what has it been like for you culturally, being married to, and then obviously before that, dating a Ghanaian?
I think exciting is the word. Everything she described is how I feel in terms of how everything is fresh and new. When I'm bringing things that have always been a part of my life, foods that have been a part of my life, music, putting her on with juke music and book music and being like, yo, check this DJ out, this DJ, like bringing these pieces that were just so much a part of me that she's never been exposed to is the high of the relationship. Okay. Which, like, that's why it's so hard, I think, for her to say, like, this is the most exciting point because we have so many moments where the excitement is just there because, from the language to the food to the media, it's never a dull day. It's always either I'm turning over a new stone, learning something new, or she's turning over a stone, or both of us at the same time. So, talking to her about Native American culture or the history in America or understanding the race relations in America or, everything. So it's a constantly unravel. So that's definitely a big thing in terms of how the culture is a positive. And like I said, maybe I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but it works for us in that sense that the differences become things that we enjoy, but differences become things that, because we both intelligent and like kind of questioning and want to know how things work, and we got that kind of mind, so we always like,
Both kind of said the same thing from opposite perspectives, right? You're sharing something new to someone else, and then you're gaining something from that other person. So that's interesting. Now you did mention it's your happy roller coaster, so I do want to ask you, Gracelyn, what are some of the maybe challenges for dating a American that maybe you hadn't seen before?
I'll say that our communication style in Ghana is a little different to America. Americans kind of sound, and I'm not speaking on behalf of all Ghanaians,
Sure.
but some Ghanaians feel like when Americans speak, they sound a little bit confrontational. And it's like, okay, it's that. Ghanaians like to speak in a more polite way and a more indirect way so that, somebody's feelings doesn't get hurt, all that stuff. We put all those things into consideration when we speak. And also the language. It's like, I have to interpret everything. What is proceeding, and I have to teach him the language. I'm teaching him Tree and Arabic at this time. But it's like you always have to explain what someone next to you is saying so that he doesn't feel left out. And it's like, we're just going to have the conversation. We're not talking about you. But those kind of things, the communication and even social norms, there are certain ways that you are expected to behave when you're in public or even in private gatherings.
And those things, I'll have to communicate those things to you prior to going to the meeting or prior to being outside. Even with the way we dress. There's a certain way that being married, there's a certain way that Ghanaians expect you to look when you're coming out with your husband, especially if he's given a foreigner. They expect you to teach him to wear this, to wear that. So sometimes you're walking out of the house, it's like, oh, you can put that on. Oh, you had to change this, all that. So those things go hand in hand. And those are the times where I feel a little pity because it's like, I have to explain every word. And Ghanaians have this thing where we communicate with our face, our eyes along. You said I make a lot of faces. I'm communicated. So I've been able to teach him some of those things. So when somebody does it outside, he knows what they are saying. Like, I can say a whole sentence without opening my mouth. And and you have to get it. Like, people get it. So it's like, all those things, sometimes I have to be like, my eyes. If I squint, it means something. If I like open my eyes wide enough, it means something. So all those things are the moments where I feel like, oh my God, this is a lot of work. Yeah, so those are when it has to go all the way down.
I get that. Especially the direct communication, especially men to women, because we tend to be more direct anyway. But in the U.S., I think most women around the U.S. in most areas, most places I've read, they're used to our direct communication. People dance around things a little bit, like, and it all across the world, right? All across the different social structures here in Ghana. So I have learned that I have to change my communication when communicating here because I've gotten into trouble sometimes for being direct. Okay, so with you, have you seen any of those as additional challenges for you? Like if you're sitting somewhere, because that does happen a lot. There's a lot of tree happening. I would go to a meeting, go to the bathroom, come back, it's all in tree now, right? And so now I'm like, I want to engage, but I can't because all I can say is akwaba and tise. That's it. That's all I got. So for you, is that also a challenge, or are there other challenges that you've come into or run across being married to Benny?
I would say that is a big challenge, the language. But it's a good challenge, because I recognize that I'm immersing myself into a new culture. I'm immersing myself into a new place,
Right.
and that's what I signed up for. So
Right.
if I'm in a room and it's just her, and let's say her cousin is in the room and they talking in LA or Tree, I can't be upset that I don't understand because it's like, yo, this is what you signed up for. You in that country, it's not like the other way around. So I have to adapt and learn, and I just take it as a learning opportunity when I can to try to listen and try to pick up words and phrases.
So what do you guys think of their love story? I really want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Also, check out their details and their information in the comments below. How you can find her stuff, his music, all of that will be in the description below. Definitely check that out. And then of course, guys, if you want to see the original interview that I did with Supah, it's here. And then if you want to see more about dating and love in Africa, click down here. All right, guys, see you all in the next video.